last week in Jose's, Adric and a couple of other people were asking me about the 24-hour Antarctic Sun videos that I've seen. In this video, I'll answer their question and more. But first, let's get into the context of the exact conversation.
What's your explanation for 24-hour sun, other than saying all the videos are fake?
Well, I have to say, I haven't seen a good video that I would call trustworthy of the 24-hour Antarctic Sun.
So they're all fake.
Yeah,
they're all
The
fake.
ones that I've seen.
Arctic
Sun, obviously, those ones are real. Yeah,
So
I've
wait,
seen good
Why are
videos
the
of that.
Antarctic ones fake?
Because there's problems with them. There's either editing or there's looping or
No.
the ones I have seen.
what's wrong with the videos you've seen? What's wrong with the video that Jose just showed?
Like I said, I'll have to take a closer look at the video. I'm not going to, debunk it on the fly, but there seems to be obvious manipulation in that video. It doesn't look natural. I don't know the provenance of that video or how it was constructed.
Would you like, Adric, would you like to screen share the video while they talk for a few more minutes before we round up, and we'll get the video in the background, please?
Well, I think that until you can go there, then I don't really think you can say that I am wrong.
Yeah, I really don't have the evidence to say that you're right either, Charlie. I'm not calling you.
As I said,
I need solid evidence.
How would you
How would you do
substantiate whether or not they were real?
Good question.
And today I'm going to answer that question. I've had a chance to go back and review the video that was played during Jose's show, and I found some other information that I can share with you that substantiates my opinion that that video is not trustworthy. This video from Anthony Powell is the one that was played during Jose's show that the panelists were asking me about. Before we look at this video in detail, let's take a look at Anthony Powell in another video that he's published. All right, let's see what we get when we Google 24-hour Antarctic Sun. All right, let's see what we've got down here. All right, we've got some interesting videos here. Let's see exactly what these are. That looks familiar. And that's the Josh Miller video that I've seen linked quite a bit. 51 subscribers, 40,000 views. He's doing pretty good for himself. There's Anthony Powell. So he's the very first one that comes up. Let's see what the second one is. I haven't seen this one. All right, Continent 7.
24 hours. Generally, your sunglasses on because it's so bright.
And what you'll find
an extra warmth
is that Anthony Powell's also involved in this, Continent 7. Well, we can look at that on his IMDb page. And then the third video, what do you know? It's the very same video that Jose's panel was asking me about. We'll get back to this later. So those first three videos are all related, and I would guess that many of these links lead to the same road. Let's take a closer look at that Anthony Powell IMDb page and see what he's got going on in here. Looks like he's known for his work in Antarctica, and you can see there's a documentary here and something from Nova. There's that Continent 7 Antarctica miniseries that we saw as the second result in Google. Another Antarctica show, Frozen Planet, cute animals. Looks like Antarctica's all over the place here. And there you can see Antarctica Year in Ice, which is actually where one of the videos we're going to look at is from. Here's the Kickstarter for that Antarctica Year on Ice documentary that was listed in his IMDb, and from which one of these videos is from. And you can see it was made in about 2015. He raised $52,000, and he mentioned some stuff here. His work was in National Geographic, Natural History Museum, Discovery, BBC. So this guy's made his rounds all over the mainstream news and science information networks. Look further in the description. He mentions the 10 years, including 9 winters that he spent down there, and the 24-hour darkness and mind-numbing cold. He does not mention the 24-hour Antarctic Sun, interestingly enough, though. This article in the New York Times about Anthony Powell also mentions the 24-hour darkness that's experienced in Antarctica, but fails to mention the 24-hour sun. You can see it right here in this paragraph where it mentions some of the strange sights that he's seen down in Antarctica. Just an interesting tidbit. Doesn't really prove anything one way or the other, but it's a piece of data that we can put in our pocket. Let's go back to our Google results and check out that first video. It's the one named Antarctica 24-Hour Sun, and it's posted by Josh Miller. This is actually an Anthony Powell video, and it's straight out of his documentary, Antarctica: A Year on Ice. The source video is about 1 minute and 24 seconds long, but I've condensed it down here just so you see the whole video once. It's not like no ballers have claimed Anthony Powell's videos in the recent past. Check out a few clips from this video on Ranty's show from about a month ago, where Brenda latches on to the same video as proof for the 24-hour Antarctic Sun. I'll come back and point out a couple of things in detail.
As usual, Ranty Globe Earther is refuting everything you've just said right now in his stream. He's showing a 24-hour sun.
Ranty's
right now. Ranty is showing a 24-hour sun right now in the video. Right now.
Brenda sure was quick to claim this as a 24-hour sun. Let's see how she handles it when a few of the obvious flaws are pointed out.
And then he cuts to a mountain that's in the background. So when he showed the watch, he had a mountain in the background with no snow upon. And then when the video starts with a mountain covered in snow.
That mountain was in shadow, wasn't it?
Now here's the mountain without snow from the beginning of the film. That's the one Brenda is claiming is in the shadows. And here it is after the jump with snow obviously on it. Now I ask you, does this look like it has snow on it? Does it look like it's in the shadows? Now I'm not even offering the snow, no snow jump cut as proof of fakery for this video. But let's see where she takes it next after she's done denying what's plainly obvious.
Do you think it could have snowed? Do you think it could have snowed overnight?
Not in the second.
Yeah, it could have.
Yeah,
no,
Brenda,
it's a time lapse.
How come there was no snow and then there was snow?
Because it snowed.
Once the snow, no snow denial wears thin, Brenda moves on to trying to redefine time lapses, insisting that the snow, no snow, and the other continuity problems in the video are perfectly acceptable under the standards that she sets for time lapses.
Brian, that's what a time lapse is. It's a jump.
No, a time lapse is not.
Yes, it is.
Time lapse is not a jump. A time lapse
yes,
is
it is.
Sped up. A full video sped up.
It's not sped up.
Randy, you're just talking nonsense at this stage.
Brian,
a time lapse video is. A time lapse video is a sped up video.
Let's see how she handles it once she's hit with the repeating clouds.
That's what you wouldn't see the same clouds rolling in. You wouldn't see the same clouds rolling in.
You don't. You don't.
You do. Yeah.
No, you don't.
Back to denial, I see.
Wow, I mean, that's just a killer. It's the exact...
They're not the same clouds.
Same. It's the exact same.
They're not the same.
Yeah, it's the exact same. It's the exact
They're not
same.
The same.
This is the end of the 24-hour cycle.
I checked at 1 minute and 23 seconds and at 23 seconds, and the cloud formations are different.
And now once the new denialism wears thin, let's see how she tries to again redefine what a time lapse is.
They just loop back over again.
Why does it loop back at the end, Brenda?
Why not?
You wouldn't need to fake it if it's real.
Yeah, I don't think that it's faked.
But Ranty's just shown you that it's faked. He just showed you there.
No,
right?
he hasn't.
And just before Randy brings it home with a live debunking and comparison of the clouds at the beginning and end of the video, Brenda makes one more accusation and ducks out of the conversation.
Wait a minute, let me talk, please. Ranty,
yes,
you have faked those screenshots.
Okay.
Yes. I checked.
Ranty's handy, but he's not that good at it.
I have checked, and I'm convinced that you are a liar, and you have faked those screenshots.
For the entire 6 saga, go watch Randy's video called Brenda Toe Tag Antarctica 24-Hour Sun. The link is in the video description.
Is Brenda even there?
I don't know. Is she there? Oh no, she's left. She's dropped.
She's dropped.
I think that was because I was doing it live.
Let's take a closer look at that beginning and end. At 33 seconds and 1:33, I've taken a screenshot. You can see on the right, I've zoomed into the smokestack. and the smoke coming out looks exactly the same. Let's take a closer look at that cloud. You can see them on the right from the timestamps, and they look exactly the same. Now, unless this mountain just happened to have the same exact cloud behind it on 2 consecutive days, and the smoke came out of that chimney the exact same way on 2 consecutive days, I'm going to have to conclude that this video is looped. Okay, I've taken the video back to about the point, or right before the point, where we suspect that it starts looping. And I want to take a look at these clouds in detail and see what happens here. So here we'll watch in slow motion as the clouds come through. And I want you to see what happens at the beginning here. You've got these clouds here that are moving away from us. Okay, keep your eye on those clouds. There they go. See them? They're going off into the distance. All right. You see those clouds moving away? There they go. They're still going. Now let's back it up a little bit here and just watch. Ready? Watch what comes up behind them. See this right here? Watch that. Here you can still see the mist from the clouds going away. Here we have something coming into the foreground. Watch it develop. See it's getting bigger. It's that same formation we saw coming from behind the mist. And here it comes across the sky. This is all part of it. And now it comes over the mountain and becomes the shape that we just saw in our printouts, and you can see your little smoke there. So let's look at that one more time. All right. We've got the mist. We've got the mist receding. The sun's going this way. Mist is still receding. We've got this other shelf formation here coming into view as the mist recedes. It's getting bigger, expanding, and developing into the repeating cloud that we looked at. All right, well, let's go back and see if we can figure out exactly where this thing is looped. Maybe it loops well before that or at some other point in the video, and that can help us explain exactly why there's repeating cloud formations. I'm going to step through this. Go. So here's our mountain. Keep an eye on the clouds going over. What we're looking for is just to make sure that we have continuity from one shot to the next. Right now we've got these clouds, so it's easy to tell that it's continuous. Just going to keep an eye on those. Clouds are dissipating a little bit here. We've got this left over here, but we've got this over here in the corner. We can watch it as it recedes on these mountains back here. Watch this. This is clouds, and we're picking up some mist over here. There's another cloud formation in the right-hand side over here. Watch this, clouds right here. We've got some mist developing. All right, there it is. It's continuing to move off of that mountain. We'll keep an eye over here in this corner. Here's some mist. Let's see if we can pick something else up. Mist is almost gone. Watch right here. Still there though. Okay. It's hard to see right there. We got some stuff going on down here. Let's back that up. I think we've got a little bit of clouds here. Watch this mist right in here. Got the snow blowing around. And here comes a cloud right here, over here. Watch this, keep your eye on this. Still there, still there. It's kind of dissipating. Here's some clouds here, moving across. And we've got a big formation coming in on the left here. There it is. Still there. Blowing around. Kind of receding back over this way. And we're picking something up over here in the corner. It's coming in. It's like the mist that we had earlier. And we've got clouds blowing in on top. So we've got kind of a continuous loop here. There it goes. And as you can see, we're back to the part before that we identified as a loop with clouds going out and coming in that turn into the same cloud above the mountain. It didn't look to me like there was another opportunity for where this could have been looped at. And it certainly begins and ends in the same place with a continuous middle. So in my opinion, this first video from Antarctica Year on Ice is not a continuous 24-hour sun time-lapse. It contains both looped images and possible layering. Too many signs of digital manipulation for me to trust this as a good source for the 24-hour Antarctic sun. All right, let's move on. The second video is not really a time-lapse of the 24-hour Antarctic sun, it's just them discussing the daylight, so we'll skip that. But the third video in the Google search results, the one called Frozen South Antarctica 24-Hour Sun 4K, is another Anthony Powell video, and it's the one that Jose's panel had playing in the background during the discussion that I played earlier. So let's take a good long look at this one. This is what I said about this video at the time.
Obviously, there's some overlays. Something looks unnatural about this video. I'd have to take a closer look in detail to really give you my opinion.
Which is exactly what we're going to do right now. The video you're looking at is a speeded up version. Once again, the source video is about 2 minutes and 8 seconds long. It starts off with a montage from Scott Bass and then moves into the sun. At the end of the time-lapse, you'll notice a second camera filming the time-lapse camera. That's new and unique to this video. Okay, I've frozen the video at the beginning and we're going to walk through it frame by frame, much like we did the last one. First thing you'll notice right out of the gate is this very distinctive sun flare. And if you watch that throughout the video, you'll see that it doesn't change much. We'll talk about that a little bit after we walk through it as well. There's a little cloud that goes by. There's a bigger cloud that passes directly in front of the sun. That's interesting too, as you'll see that the sun flare is completely unaffected by this. You can see how it passes right in front of the sun and the camera. I guess you could make an argument that that cloud is so thin that it doesn't impact the sun, but we'll see in later frames where similar clouds completely distort or change the sun flare. There was no change whatsoever. And here we go. We're going across, not much going on. Not much in the way of clouds in the foreground in this video, at least in the beginning. Now we've got some precipitation coming in and going from right to left across the screen. And we'll see that'll interact with the sun flare in spots as well, but it's mostly kind of fading out as it gets near the sun. There we go. Now we've got an interaction. We go from a giant sun flare to one frame later with that cloud blocking it, a smaller sun flare. And actually, if you look at that flare, it's quite a bit different. We'll go back, and here again is the sun with the cloud seemingly in front of it, and the sun flare is unaffected by that. Here, the cloud is in front of it. And there, once again, we have the same situation with the sun flare unaffected by the cloud in the foreground. There, it's completely blocked. And there we have almost the full sun flare. Again, it's behind the cloud. And you can look out and you can tell how affected it is by the sun flares, the spikes. I don't know what you would call them, coming out of there. We'll walk through here. There's another one where the clouds are directly in front of it, and it's the almost full sun flare. Okay, go back. We'll go forward. Clouds, clouds, clouds. All right. There's one where the sun flare is, the sun is completely blocked by the clouds. But again, you can see the long sun flare sticking out from behind the clouds. This does not look natural to me. Keep going. There's another one, the big sun flare. You can see it goes from here to here to here. And if you watch this spike right there, you won't see any change between these three for the most part. Like you can see some clouds through the sun flare. But other than that, the intensity and the distance of the sun flares isn't changing like it does in some other shots. Same with this here. Same here. I mean, that's completely covered, and you still have these long ones. I'm going to go forward. There's another one. It's weird how these clouds don't impact it that much. There's another one. There we go. And again, this one is, you can see them sticking out from behind the sun. And here, actually, if you look up here in the clouds, you'll see that sun flare hasn't changed yet. We'll continue to go forward. There it is. I'm sure you can make the argument that that's the intensity of the light coming through the thin clouds, but it's a little suspicious to me. Now, let me back up real quick because I want to give you a time mark here. Here's the last time we see this full sun. If you look at the watch, this takes place at approximately 10 o'clock. We're going to walk through. You're going to see there is a long time here where the sun itself is actually not visible. You can see starbursts. There we go. There's the sun. We're going to go forward. Okay. Let's cruise through a little bit. Nothing much changes here. All right. It's midnight now. We're looking south. Clouds, sunburst, not much change. Now you still see that sun flare looks exactly the same. I keep saying sunburst, but I mean sun flare. All right, now here comes the heavy clouds. You can see the intensity of the sun flare is impacted by those clouds, which are seemingly thinner, and the sun flare kind of fades behind them in and out. And there we go. Let's take a look at the time on this one here. Now we're sitting at about 2:30. We've lost the sun. Let's speed through it. Oh, there he is. Little sun flare. And we've got a sun flare coming through the clouds there. Here we go. What time is it now? About 3:05. We're going to cruise through here. And I want you to watch this here. You will see that light fade off into the distance there. There it is. You can kind of see it through here. It almost looks like the sun is setting. And we're going to cruise through the time. It's 5 now. All right. Now we're looking east. Heavy cloud cover. Almost like there's a thick fog out. And we're still going. Cruising through time. It's 8 o'clock now. Still foggy out. We've been in the fog for almost 6 hours so far. We'll keep going. Looks like there's a golf course out there. Here we go. We got some light in here. You can see that light kind of starts over here. Some light coming through the clouds. We're cruising through the clouds. It's coming up on 11 o'clock. Let's see when we get our first. Bam. Nope, no sun there. It's about noon, and we got the sun again. There we go. And we've got that distinctive sun flare back. So from about 3:15 to noon, we had no visual sighting of the sun, which, if I can do my math right, is about 8.5 to 9 hours. Here we go. We're cruising through. Again, we got cloud cover, full sun flares. All right. I think we're about at the end here. Again, we can see the sun flare coming down here. Maybe we're not having the whole frame. I don't know. It's at the top right now. And there we go. We're almost done at 360, almost to the end here. And now the sun's covered, and we're at the end. Okay. Now in this one, unlike the last one, the end, the sun is completely covered. And the beginning, we can see the sun, and it's in the same position because I've checked it. So this one is not looped at the beginning and the end. However, we are missing approximately 9 hours of visual sighting of the sun and have an interesting star flare. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. But here at the end, you will see got this secondary camera set up on the time tripod, and we'll watch as this rotates. Now you see it's heading, the camera is facing approximately 3 o'clock. And it's going around. We see the sun come into the frame. It's done about a 90-degree turn so far. And it's going to swing around. And we're going to fade out before we get to a 180. Let's take a closer look at those distinctive sun flares. Here I've pulled in a screenshot of them from 4 different times in the video, and you can see how remarkably similar they look. Okay, so what I've done here is I've pulled these 2 images, and the one from 12:20 a.m. and the one from 12:05 p.m. So we've got midnight and noon essentially. And I'm going to take this one and I'm going to drag it up on top of this one. You can see they're about the same size image. And I'm going to turn this one opaque so that we can see through it. You can see the starburst up here, and here's the starburst on the bottom image, the midnight one. I'm going to drag this down and just see if we can kind of match these up. Let me zoom in a little bit and see if we can get closer. And I'll move this around. Let's zoom in some more. All right. Let's see if we can move that around. And I'll just nudge it. Nudge, nudge, nudge. Nudge, nudge, nudge. Let's see how close we are. Looks like we're a little off over there. There we go. Nudge, 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 nudge. Let's go up here. Are we off at all? There we go. All right. So let's test it off and see if it changes at all when I change this opacity. All right, there's the bottom one is completely 100% opacity, and I'll take it down to 0 opacity. Looks like we're still a little off. Bottom one is up a little bit brighter, but it's pretty damn close. This bottom one looks like it's almost got this one. Like it's at a higher brightness setting. And then when I take it down, this one is less bright. But other than that, I'm not sure I can see too much of a dang difference. Can you? I went ahead and did the same exact process here. And what you're seeing are the results. Here's the first one. And then you'll see the second one. You can see the differences for yourself between them. Not much. I don't know if we can draw a solid conclusion from just this exercise. Let's do one more and see if we can glean anything. All right, now I've got everything opaque except for the original midnight picture, and I'm going to step them up, and we'll see how the starburst changed as I do that. So let me pick the second to bottom one. Opacity is 0. We'll turn that up to 100. We'll pick the next one. Same thing. And we'll pick the fourth picture, fourth time frame, and turn that up. Not much change there. Here's my conclusions about this second Frozen South 24-hour sun video from Anthony Powell. The sun flare seems to be inconsistently impacted by the clouds. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it isn't. And there's an unusual consistency in the appearance of the sun flare. Also, even if that weren't the case, and even if that sun flare is natural, the sun isn't visible for approximately 9 hours, so it's not a continuous 24-hour Antarctic Sun video. The problem with each of these videos kind of reflects poorly on the other, Anthony Powell's work overall. I find it extremely interesting that the first 3 videos that Google returns are from Anthony Powell. Now let's juxtapose those Anthony Powell videos against this video of the Arctic Midnight Sun uploaded by YouTube user Flynn. I've left it in its entirety. Enjoy. You can decide for yourself whether you think that's genuine or not. Okay, back to La La Land. Let's reflect back on the discussion I had on Randy's with Erebus and Edric and Bob the Science Guy and see if I covered the basis.
How do you substantiate whether or not something is real or fake when it comes to footage, such as what we're talking about?
Yeah, it's very difficult. I agree. I would look for obvious signs of fakery. I would look for if there's any time lapse. You'd have to consider the source that it's coming through. I would have to consider if there's multiple verifications of the same observation. I think there's a lot of considerations when you're looking at information on whether you can validate it and say, you know what, I believe this. I'm willing to base my beliefs on this piece of footage.
And you've done that for footage from the North Pole.
Yeah.
Okay, but you've not done that for footage from the South Pole. Is that correct?
Correct. And I've seen quite a bit of the supposed 24-hour sun footage in the South Pole. The ones that I have seen are edited. They have cuts out of the time lapse. There's cloud formations that repeat in them, and other such issues. And I don't know what those sources are either. So that's another issue.
Brandon.
Now, I hate to do this to you, but I have to play this following clip because it takes on a slightly different tone, having reviewed all that information.
The problem that you have, Brandon, is that if you talk about substantiating things, you have to have some sort of criteria by which you can substantiate them or unsubstantiate them. Simply saying, I don't know how I would substantiate something, means that you have no criteria for doing that. So therefore, you will never be able to substantiate anything because you don't even know what you're looking for.
All the ones taken in the Arctic are fine, but all the ones in the South Pole are fake.
I didn't say all. I stated it very carefully what I said.
But you do accept that they all have to be fake, or the Earth is.
If you show me a video of an Antarctic sun that I can substantiate as real, then we'll have a discussion. I haven't seen one yet.
And I still haven't seen one. So can you show me one that we can substantiate as real? Now, are all of the Antarctic Sun videos fake? I don't know. I do know that each of them that I've looked at, not only these two that we've reviewed in detail in this video, have problems. People have pointed out problems extensively with these 24-hour Antarctic Sun videos. It makes you wonder, why is anybody going to the trouble to fake a 24-hour time lapse in Antarctica or unnaturally edit one if there's a 24-hour sun there to be captured every single year? Why are the first three videos all from Anthony Powell, who works for known propagandist organizations like National Geographic and BBC? That in itself is a big red flag for me. So, is there a 24-hour sun? I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen any proof of it yet.